Hey, what's up everyone? So welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about some of the questions that people have been asking. What build am I using in my videos pretty much for Greatsword Spear. And in this video today I'm going to be covering two options of a build. I know there's a lot of options regarding the build. We do have a lot of build like a full endurance, full collision resist. But today I'll be talking about what's available in the game as of right now, March the 26th. We do have two kinds of build in the game right now. We do have the Vanguard set, which is we run 4-piece Vanguard that gives 30 base damage if your fortitude is over 50. And the other option is the Imperial Seeker 2-piece and the 2-piece Vanguard. In my opinion, those two are the best build right now in terms of like DPS. If you want to do some sort of like dive, and then if you want to make some impact in terms of like GVG or any other like PvP kind of thing. So let's go over it. So as of right now, what I'm choosing over the 2-piece Imperial and 2-piece Vanguard. Reason being, I want to do some critical damage, and the Imperial Seeker gives just that. It gives basically the tooltip's kind of error. I touched it before, and every time I touch it is basically these two numbers just to flip around. So it gives 15% critical damage, and then on each melee critical hit, it's gonna do 1% more critical damage. So basically, it gives a total of 26%, if I'm not mistaken. It's around that much. 25%. It gives 25% critical damage on max. Then yeah, so if you take a look at my build here, I do have 70 strength, 60 dex, 60 perception, and 50 fort. We can always change this around. I can do like, let's say 50 perception and then 70 dex. This is also viable too. It just depends on like how good people's critical hit right now are in the game. If you do 70, 70, 50, 50, you're gonna lose a bit on endurance. But if you change it to like, let's see, 60 and 60, and then what we'll be getting is a little bit more endurance, a little more hit chance, more buff duration, but we lose a little bit on that 60 crit from dexterity. So this is my current stat. I do have 1500 melee hit. The reason why I'm not really building melee hit right now is because everyone is not really running melee evasion. Everyone's so scared of staff right now. Everyone's just running magic endurance, magic evasion kind of thing. So nobody's really running melee evasion. You'll bump into one of the two of those, but for the majority of part, you want to hit a clump anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then if we're talking about like the critical hit, I do have 1200. I know this number is not that big, but it's kind of enough as of right now to trigger that critical damage buff. I do want to get it more, but I'm still looking around on how do I get some more of this buff. And then so for endurance, I do have 900 for the melee, 1800 on range, 1900 on magic right now. And then heavy attack 654, and then I'm running, this is the piece that I'm running. I'll leave a quest-long link on the description down below. And pretty much, let's see what other stat we're looking at. The skills, I do have the skills going on. Pretty much for skill spec. In Greatsword, I don't really run a lot. I run frost cleaving. Reason being is I'm trying to do an AoE when I jump with my Death from the Above skill. So I do have Death from the Above combo with Devastating and Frost Cleaving. It does so much AoE based on my build right now. And then as for the other stat, I do have the Vinci. Duration is kind of good. Precision dash. I do want to bind people. Skill range, just a nice boost to that. Like if you want to chase people or you want to go deeper into a clump. Because basically the whole point of the class is breaking up the clumps in the back when there's a huge GVG going on. You pretty much want to hit like every single DPS in the back line, so that's your priority target. You don't want to hit the tank at all. Like try to ignore tank as much as you can, because spear's damage doesn't really, like the tank doesn't really melt with spear damage unless you're playing spear dagger. But as for spear greatsword, you kind of want to do that for the backline. The backline is your like priority target. Pretty much all squishies. And then Javelin Invernos right here, Explosive Fury, Unyielding Sentinel. Reason why I'm not running Enforcer is because I'm not trying to get that 410 hit. I don't really need hit right now because people are not really running it unless trade residence around the corner. But as of right now, I'm using this 2-stat. I'm shield. It's just good 4K shield, and then the range just for us to get more heavy attack, pretty much. And then that from the above, I don't really run the fear chance because basically you're using so much skill points, 7, but then most of the time people are not really running fear resistance. I can kind of hit fear targets, like, because if you want to dive, you're kind of diving like DPS anyways, which they don't really build fear resistance. So I would really suggest to not really take this because it's 7 points. You can put a lot of points and a lot more stuff. But yeah, that's about it. I kind of run guillotine too, just because if I see someone on the side that's off position, I can just instantly one-shot them. So yeah. Weapon mastery. Let's talk about weapon mastery. I do have this is my current weapon mastery. I do have Greatsword at 125. Pretty much I want to unlock the critical equilibrium, gives you critical damage. Same reason why I will want to go for that Imperial thing. And then Blade Harvest. It's a good lifesteal basically. If you're low on like HP, you just dash one time, and then pretty much it's gonna give you like 7.5% damage lifesteal. If you combo that with your Javelin Inferno, once you charge up, you're just lifestealing like a lot. Especially with this passive too. Dauntless Recovery gives you 1% flat skill damage as health. So it's a good lifesteal build, pretty much. And then as for Spears Mastery, I'm taking the Tenacious Spirit in order to have more cooldowns, so I can use more precision dash. I can spam more skills on the field. That's pretty much it. And the other important note is pretty much the Perfect Tempo. Gives you hit chance and attack speed. The reason why I'm taking this is mainly because of its attack speed right now, but I know in the future I really need the 300 flat hit chance that you get from this passive, so it's kind of good. I would say it's a good passive to take. And then as of these two, I'm kind of debating on which one do I go to. If I go Universal Protection, it's basically giving up my attack speed, 10% attack speed for 270 defense, which is not a bad trade-off. I would say this is a good trade-off if you can take it. But right now, I'm kind of prioritizing on damage right now. I'm still playing around with it on a lot of the stuff, so I wouldn't take this as a final. If you have a better build, then if you think your build is better and all that, just go for it. This is more of a video to answer those questions on the comment section that's asking for the build kind of thing. So I want to give them like an answer to it, pretty much. The Sustaining Guard, pretty much a lifesteal from the Mortal Rat. It's basically a lifesteal that triggers on people that's 30% HP or lower. You can take some other stuff, but like as of right now, I would say the Spear passive is not really good on the second note because everything is kind of useless. I don't really want to take this too. The reason why I'm like this is even on is because I'm just taking some notes and all of a sudden it just turns on. So this is not really a priority. I would say the only priority that you need to know is just this one Nimble's Perfect Tempo and Enduring Dash. That's the only two notes I would say from Spear that's really good for GS Spear in particular, because Enduring Dash, pretty much every time you dash, you got 250 endurance flat for 3 seconds, and then you pretty much, like, let me test it. I think pretty much whenever you dash, the cooldown is like, let me just check it real quick. You have a 6-second downtime minus the buff that you get, so you're pretty much have like a 3-second downtime kind of thing, 3 to 4 second downtime. So it's a good skill to like spam around, and then it's a good mastery to have too because it's basically giving you 250 endurance, which is quite a lot. And then my end game will be opening this note, the Victory Shield. If you can't get 50 Fortitude, I would really recommend just do this instead. I'll really recommend just to get Victory Shield. It's a good skill, but I would say the only way you trigger it is by killing someone with Javelin Inferno. Like that's the only spear skill that deals damage pretty much right now. In terms of my build, if you're running Rising Slash, you probably can trigger it with Rising Slash as well. But it's pretty much giving you 6k health for 3 seconds, which is quite good to help you survive in those clumps. And then yeah. And as of right now, let's see. So I have another build. Another option that people want to run. So these two quest lock I have is pretty much the option of the build that I'm running. So for the first one, this is what I'm running as of right now. in the build. So you can just take a look at it and try to copy some of the runes that I got from here. As for the Vanguard stat, so this is the 4-piece Vanguard one. I haven't played around with it too much, but I would say if you're going 4-piece Vanguard, then don't really chase the critical hit chance, I would say. You can change some of the rings, but I would kind of recommend this build as of right now because it gives quite a lot of endurance. I know the number is not as much as mine before, but this is because there's no artifact and all that. If you put artifacts, then it's probably higher than what I'm running right now. So gives you 1000 critical hit, which is kind of solid. 473 heavy attack. If you run Unyielding Sentinel, it'll give you more. And then decent defense, I would say. It's a good defense to have. A lot of base damage too, because it gives you 30 base damage. 60 fortitude gives you 120 endurance more. So it's a good set to run. Reason why I'm running this off piece of the hat piece is because I don't really like Vanguard hat piece. You can kind of run anything as long as you're hitting those stats. It's all right. You can run whatever you want. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So the only main difference is if you're running Vanguard, I would really recommend to just go all in on heavy attack. Try to build your heavy attack as high as possible because that's your main damage pretty much. If you're running Imperial, try to get that critical hit a little bit more higher. That's the main difference between the two builds. I will be making some builds that don't require Arch Boss, but as of right now, I would say some of the only good spear right now is pretty much Matte Wraith. And then the only good GS as of right now, I would say it's the Pakio or the... Let me see. It's either Pakio or the Quakeweight, yeah. Those two are the only good Greatsword right now. And as of spear, the only two good spear is pretty much as of right now, it's only Matte Wraith and the Pakio Naru spear. This spear gives you so much resistance. Pretty much if you want to run, but I wouldn't recommend this if you're going DPS. If you're going a lot of DPS, I wouldn't really recommend running the Pakio spear. If you want to do DPS, I would really recommend just running the Matte Wraith over the Pakio Naru. Pakio Naru gives you like so much CC resist. You're pretty much untouchable when you have it fully stacked up. So that's my recommendation. So yeah, if you got any more questions regarding the build, just leave a comment on the section down below. I'll try to answer them as much as possible. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.